bitch. Ooh. Come on, dude. Yeah, there she goes. What is up, agents? How's everybody doing? So, the new season has just started. I'm just logging in for the first time. Last week we got some new talents and stuff. And so I wanted to recap on the assault drone build, and I wanted to go over the talents and using some of the new talents in combination to figure out what are some different build variations and options you guys have to run the striker drone assault turret build. So right here, this is the old version, and what I'm going to be doing is switching out these two pieces right here. The Miah-Pinion will go to the chest. I've been using Kinetic Momentum. You guys can see we hit the 78,000 for the damage on the striker drone, and we crossed the 125,000 with the assault turret. So when I swap this out, we still do the same damage. You notice the cooldowns actually go down a little bit. So we're actually under 12 seconds for the assault turret. One thing that I'm looking forward to bringing you guys in the near future is I'm calling my True Perp and Blue build. This is essentially the assault drone build, but using all purple and blue gear. And just to show you, it still needs a bit of work, but I already got the striker drone doing almost 50,000 damage. And the assault turret doing almost 80,000 damage, and that's not yet taking into account one of the perks we're going to go over, the Future Perfect, which, despite being at tier 4 of the skills, stacks up to 3 times. That puts me into overcharge. So we'll get into that. That'll be a full build in and of itself for any of you guys who want a little bit of a challenge down the road. But anyway, let's get into the meat and potatoes build. All right, so for any of you guys who are totally familiar with this build, you guys can go ahead and skip to the actual talent and the gun range gameplay. That will be giving you the damage numbers that you want for the particular talent combos. Any of you guys who this may be new information to or want to check out the entire video, I'm going to basically start right now from scratch the entire build for anybody who may be doing this for the first time. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with the specialization. Alright, so we're going to be running with the Technician Specialization. This does a couple of beneficial things for us as well as the team if you're running with them. It does give EMP grenades, which you can use to shut down robots and turrets and other things like that. Deployable skills from the enemy. Amp, which we are not taking advantage of in my personal build, but you can definitely take advantage. If you get a God Roll piece of gear, you can re-roll 170,000 armor or weapon damage onto that slot, and this will make sure you still stay at tier 6. Robotics, 12% damage to drones. At maximum damage, this still comes out to about 5% overall damage. So definitely worth having for the end game where there's a lot of robotic dogs, a lot of deployable skills. And when we go down to the range, this will be in effect all the time because all the targets are considered robotics. Armor kits apply to friendly proxies. You can use this to heal your skills. You can also use it to heal, if you have a tank in your group, you can use this to heal their shield. Just kind of an overall benefit. You do get access to the Artificer Hive. I don't use it myself, but if you like running with that. But the biggest one that I like is the Faraday Field. Party members within 5 meters of the deployed and undisrupted skills are immune to shock and disruption. This means that my skills do not go down. If I start to hear a dog about to explode, I will combat roll towards my turret in hopes of not becoming disrupted. And last, a small little thing, but gain 15% bonus armor while aiming a skill. This can actually really help to keep you from taking damage while you come out of cover for that short bit of time to throw out the turret in case you want to deploy it someplace other than right in front of you. Alright, so that is it for the Technician. Next, we're going to go ahead and talk about the brand sets. We are not using any gear sets or gear set bonuses for this particular build. Not saying that it won't come of that in the future, but in this particular iteration, this is the highest damage potential I've found so far. We are running one-piece Wyvern for the plus 10% skill damage. We're running two-piece hana-u for the plus 10% skill haste and plus 10% skill damage. And we are using the three-piece Murakami for the plus 20% skill duration and the plus 10% skill damage. So what that ultimately comes out to is plus 10% skill haste, plus 20% skill duration, and plus 30% skill damage from the brand sets. As far as the attributes that we are looking for in our gear, we're basically looking for skill haste and skill damage everywhere possible. Skill damage is the number one attribute you're looking for, followed by skill haste. All the mod slots, we will be using skill haste mods. So we'll just go around the Murakami mask. And just to note, it does not matter what slot has what brand set piece in it. You want to use the best gear piece you have. As long as it comes out to the 1 Wyvern, 2 hana-u, 3 Murakami, you will be doing excellent. Alright, so skill damage, skill haste, and a skill haste mod. Skill haste, skill damage, and a skill haste mod. We'll go over the talents in a bit. Skill damage and skill haste. Skill damage, you would want skill haste right here. Now, you can always make an argument if you want to have crit hit chance. If I wanted to do more weapon damage, I would want that weapon handling to be crit hit chance in that case. But given the build, I would prefer to have additional skill haste right there. We have a skill haste mod. Again, we'll talk about the talents in a moment. Skill haste and skill damage. Skill haste and skill damage. Alright, so when we get down to the gun range, we're going to be going over these talents in detail, and I'm going to be showing some numbers, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about the different talents that we're going to be going over. So for the chest piece, we will be covering Kinetic Momentum. When in combat, each skill generates a stack while active or not on cooldown. Stacks increase your total skill damage by 1% and total skill repair by 2%, up to 15 stacks per skill, lost when on cooldown. And there's been some debate to how this skill works, and somebody pointed something out that may be correct. The idea was that Kinetic Momentum was bugged, and the skill damage is actually 2% instead of the 1%. But the argument was it's up to 15% at 1%, but that's per skill. Thus, if you have two skills out that ramp damage, when they're at max, that's the 30% that people see. Now, if that is true, then we would need to see some repair numbers, because that means if you're using 2 repair skills, then that should be 60% bonus repair. So this is something to keep in mind for you medics out there, and another round of testing that I'm going to need to do in the future here. So, food for thought. Back to the skills, or the talents rather. So Kinetic Momentum, next on the list, and most likely the highest damaging one, it will be our Glass Cannon. All damage you deal is amplified by 25%. However, all damage you take is amplified by 50%. And this is a direct multiplier that's added on at the end of any other equation. And that's why, ultimately, with a full build, this tends to be the largest damage bonus. We'll still see if that's true. Testing may show otherwise. However, it's really the way off. Is it worth taking the 15% bonus damage, especially once you get into heroic and legendary content? Next on our list, we will be talking about the group buff, the Overwatch. After staying in cover for 10 seconds, increases you and your allies' total weapon and skill damage by 12% as long as you remain in cover or in a cover-to-cover move. So this is great because this is a buff to the entire team and adds DPS to everybody. If you're running in a full 4-man group in heroic or legendary, there's a hard argument to run anything but Overwatch if you truly want to support your team in doing the most damage, getting through anything as quickly as possible. And the last perk we're going to be checking out will be Spotter. Since we're running Technician, we have access to the laser sight, which automatically spots targets you aim at. Spotter amplifies total weapon and skill damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. And you guys will see this is a little bit tricky because you do have to pulse enemies, but you get used to basically sweeping across the entire battlefield and getting guys pulsed. And once they're pulsed, they stay pulsed. We'll do some damage numbers for this. So the talents we will be covering will be tech support. Skill kills increase total skill damage by 25% for 20 seconds. And this is a very easy perk to keep up. The second one we'll be covering is combined arms. Shooting an enemy increases total skill damage by 25% for 3 seconds. What skills are we using? What mods are we using? And what does that get us to? So let's start out with our striker drone. Our striker drone has a 4.2 second cooldown and does 78,260 damage per bullet as base. Okay, something is really wrong here. We do not have a 3.9 second cooldown on our turret. That's not right. Something is very wrong here. We do have a 125,000 base damage though on it. So I'm using a duration mod, 4.6 damage mod, and I'm still looking for the 5. And a 9.6 health to try to keep it alive during the legendary content. And now let's take a look at our assault drone, or our assault turret. We are running with a 5.6 duration. All right, everybody who's watched up to this point, thank you so much. All you veterans there who just skipped ahead to this. All right, so we're about to get into all the different numbers here. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to break it down. First, I'm going to show the weapon talents. All right, so to quickly go over the 2 new perks that we got. The first one is In Sync. Hitting an enemy grants plus 15% skill damage for 5 seconds. Second part, using a skill, so that's upon deployment of the skill, or damaging an enemy with the skill grants 15% weapon damage for 5 seconds. Damage increases are doubled while both buffs are active at the same time. And you guys will see each of these 3 has their own little buff in the buff bar, so you can see when each of them is active. And this, of course, this one perk synergizes very well with combined arms if you are going for a run and gun build. So the other new perk, which I really like, is Future Perfect. Weapon kills grant +1 skill tier for 15 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. And weapon kills at skill tier 6 grant overcharge for 15 seconds. And there is an overcharge cooldown of 90 seconds. So this is awesome. If you're at skill tier 4 or above, you can use this perk alone to get yourself an overcharge by stacking that. In my particular case, if you're at skill tier 6, the first kill you get automatically procs this. And here's the big reason why this is an awesome perk, as you guys will see in the gameplay. If you get a kill with this perk active, you can switch weapons and you will stay in overcharge for the full 15 seconds. I did some testing with Spike to see if they had changed that since they had buffed it to 15 seconds. However, no, as soon as you switch weapons, the Spike buff does go away. So this is our Future Perfect right here. This is our Spike. So what I should be able to do is get Spike going. If I do that, and then I switch. Okay, so Spike does go away. But let's see about this. So if I hit proc Future Perfect. So there's first. I shouldn't do anything because I'm in this. Oh. No, it doesn't refresh it. But notice it's still there and I still have the buff. Now it's on cooldown. I still have Spike. Now if I were to switch, Spike goes away. So Future Perfect does stack on top of and remain when switching weapons, but Spike does not. So you could use Future Perfect to get a kill and switch to Spike for bonus damage, or you could use Future Perfect and switch over to In Sync for the bonus damage. That is also, you guys could also just simply run a weapon that has weapon bonus damage if you want to do more damage with your weapon. But this is a build based around increasing the skills, primarily the Assault Turret and the Striker Drone. So let's get right on into it. Alright, so let's get the drone out. So with one spike, come on, dude. Alright, so that's 87,000. So the turret, which does 125 normally, does 140 with perfect spike. Okay, but then, and does 172 there. And the drone does 109 with perfect spike and tech support. Alright. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to switch off of Spike. And we're going to go with the In Sync. Alright, so first thing we're going to do, let's get this out. So if I hit, there you go, 89,000 when both are active. And 143. Alright, now we got tech support. Now it's all active. There we go. Alright. So that is In Sync. What I'm going to hopefully do is proc Future Perfect. Then we will jump over and proc Spike. And then see what that damage is. Alright, so what we'll do is try to hit this. There we go. Switch weapons. There we go. There we go. That's with everything procced up right there. So you guys can see Future Perfect works with everything. Okay, now that we're cooled down, guys, here we go. Let's hope that I can not screw this up. Alright, they've got that going. And let's check this out. There you guys go. So that's with both. Alright. So those are the weapon talents and the different damage bonuses we can get just using the weapon talents, and obviously running with tech support as well. So you guys could use combined arms. That will be a little bit more damage. Obviously, since we're shooting with In Sync would most likely be the better combination, since it not only provides more damage, but it synergizes with combined arms and the fact that you have to be shooting all the time to maintain that bonus. So, alright agents, now we're going to go ahead and go over the chest piece talents. So one thing I'm going to do from this point on is, we know that Future Perfect stacks with everything else. So now I'm going to be simply showing the difference between In Sync on this LMG and Spike on the custom P40. And obviously you can use any weapon that you want. That doesn't make a difference. You essentially just want to use the weapon that you're best with killing with. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just test the chess pieces, not in order of what is better or worse. I'm just going to do them in alphabetical order. So we are going to do Glass Cannon, then Kinetic Momentum, then Overwatch, and then Spotter. So here's our Glass Cannon. Alright, so we're just going max damage on all these, so I'm just getting them up. Let's go, ladies. So this is In Sync. There we go. There we go. That's what we got. Alright, same deal, but with Spike. Blast cannon and Spike. Next, we will be going with our good old Kinetic Momentum. Alright, Kinetic Momentum. We'll go with Spike. There we go, that's what we got. There's our Kinetic Momentum with Spike right there. Alright, so, looking pretty tough. So here's Kinetic Momentum with In Sync. Significantly easier to proc. Alright. I know which one I like better. Alright, so there's Kinetic Momentum, guys. Next, we will move to our Overwatch. Now, keep in mind with Overwatch that we are going to be benefiting not only ourselves, but our entire team while we do this, so. There you guys go. Alright, that's max Overwatch. And now, the easy one, Overwatch with In Sync. Now, we'll try Spotter. So remember with Spotter, there's a couple of different ways you can run it. You, of course, can run in a team with somebody running a pulse, which is, of course, great. Or you just count on the fact that you aim and that target is now pulsed. So, there's Spike. We're waiting for tech support proc. Two. Now we'll switch over here and get some good numbers for In Sync. There we go. All right. Alright, so that's Spotter now. The Spotter on the chest piece in combination with the linked laser pointer, enabled to pulse whatever target we're at. And then we are using the Force Multiplier bag for the perfect combined arms for the 30% skill damage for 3 seconds. This is a full-on boss killer, single target DPS build. And I actually am kind of referring it to the NES Spiker build, the never-ending story. It's like when Atreyu had to get between the twin statues on him, and that's basically the striker drone and the assault turret. Not too. Oh, it's a dog too. Fuck. This is gonna be cool. Let's see how we do. Oh, fuck. We're just gonna have to do it this way. Alright, we can't get that. Alright, love the technician. Wait, alright, on the big dude, watch this. Alright. I'm gonna blow up this turret so we can get over on the medic. I don't want to not... Alright, drone, come on, drone. No, come on, dude. My drone's too out of control. Look at this guy. Alright, let's do this. Damn. This poor guy. Alright, so that's the NES Spiker build right there. As you guys can see, it's easy to do on this. So that's the kind of build you like. That's awesome, and it's a lot of fun. It's just a question of, do you like the extra little bit of damage from the force multiplier, or do you like the ease of use of using tech support and letting your skills continually keep this bonus up without having to give the extra effort? That's totally up to your own play style. Alright, so I'll just quickly go over what I think the 3 top builds are and where their application is. Number 1 would be the spotter build with combined arms and in sync. This will yield a damage of 153,000 per shot with the striker drone and 246,000 per shot from the assault turret. This is primarily a single target DPS build. This will allow you to take down single target enemies extremely fast. A good runner-up to that, of course, would be if you're running solo, you could run the same build but with tech support instead of combined arms, and that will give you more sustained damage using your skills. That's up to each of you. The one thing to note is that it's hard in a group to keep tech support up all the time. If your teammates get a kill, it doesn't count. If you get a weapon kill, it doesn't count. So you can see in some of the video I have, there's times when I just didn't have tech support up when it otherwise could have been. If I was running solo, that wouldn't have been an issue. The second, and I think the more consistent build, is the standard striker drone assault turret build using the Kinetic Momentum chest piece, tech support on the backpack, and utilizing the new in sync. This will yield 139,000 damage from the striker drone and 222,000 damage with the assault turret. And the thing to note is glass cannon literally only does 1,000 more damage. It does 140,000 per bullet for the striker drone, and it does 123,000 with the assault turret. So in no way is glass cannon even come into the equation in any of these builds. And then number 3 would simply be to switch out the chest piece for our Overwatch. And this is if you're running in a group, if you're running in a heroic group. And this is really only if the group seems like they need a little bit of help with extra damage. You still end up doing 123,000 with the striker drone and 196,000 with the assault turret. So spotter combined arms for single target damage in a group. If I'm running solo, I would be running Kinetic Momentum and tech support. And in a group for heroic or legendary, I would run Overwatch with tech support. And every one of these combinations I will be using in sync with Future Perfect as my secondary. Since we're running Technician, I can just do this, get Perfect Spike right there. In fact, you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do.
Rogue striker drone detected. Rogue artillery turret detected. Rogue assault turret detected. Rogue Miah-Pinion detected. Rogue defender drone detected. An agent needs assistance.
Dude!
Rogue incinerator turret detected.
Fuck. Dude!
Agent down.
Dude, come on! Get away from the fucking wall, dude. This bitch is going down. Now fuck you, bitch. Where? What? Wait. Why did my fucking striker drone stop?
Detected.
Dude, come on, dude. Stop knocking me out of cover, dick. They need to fucking figure out a way to fix that shit. Because right now...
An agent needs assistance.
Dude. There. Drone. Drone. Go. Yes. What? Is there something above us? We're good.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
Last one. Last one. Come on. Nice. There we go. Oh, I want an LMG for this too, because it holds a lot more ammo, so I don't have to reload as often to keep the perk up. Is that all of them? Oh yeah, buddies. Because this is going to be easy. Set this right. Right, watch this. Okay, so we put this right. Oh, come on. There we go. Now.
Friendly control point nearby.
We've all endured suffering, but only the outcasts understand what it means to feel deserted.
Been doing Martian unit twice. 3 times.
They call us monsters, but I say there's nothing more deranged and monstrous than tearing a child from its family and
And as much as shit that I do not need.
feel helpless.
I could probably use that jackrabbit.
I was hoping this guy might be using empathic resolve so we can get some even bigger numbers.
What y'all doing up in here? Well, I ain't never in here selling some of that old ice, is you?
now I remember to buy this extra long or to charge my joystick. And I look right at it there.
Good. Yeah, I like this now.
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
That's a level 4 control.
Okay. So we're going to have to test the damage numbers of this versus the standard version.
Serious trauma detected.
No, that's so fucking bullshit. That was fucking cool.
Oh yeah, before we finish this off, we might as well see where the sniper turret is at real quick before we go. Because if you guys want, all of these same principles that you saw here apply directly to the sniper turret. So you can build everything exactly the same way and have some sniping fun. Too many bugs out here. All right. All right, agents. So a few final thoughts on the actual perks. Spotter, pros and cons. Great perk. And the highest damage potential if you're going for single target. Works great with the Technician laser pointer, except for the fact, and this is the con, is sometimes the laser pointer, you're zoomed in on target and it just doesn't pulse them for some reason. So except for when you have that issue, it's a great perk, and you can actually help out your teammates if they are also running a spotter chest piece. Glass cannon. I just do not think it is worth it in any iteration of this build using the turret or the drone. So I would avoid glass cannon. Combined arms it's a great perk, particularly the perfected combined arms. However, it does have a short duration, so you are forced to engage enemies a lot. If you're squishy running solo, it may not be the best perk for you. You may be better off going with tech support. Tech support is a great perk. procs on its own from the skill kills. It has a long duration. The downside of tech support is the more your group is actually capable of dealing damage and killing things, the more you're competing to keep tech support up. And as I had quite a bit of issues with, a lot of times I would get a weapon kill so it wouldn't proc it, or one of my teammates would get the kill before my skill does. And in that case, I would have been better off using combined arms. So all of these things have pros and cons, and you just have to figure out what works best for you, and a lot of it will be based on what equipment you have available to you and what brand sets at the time. So use what is best for you. And lastly, before we go, I just wanted to thank all of you so much. I appreciate the support. Any comments, let me know. I appreciate you guys smashing that like button. Hopefully I have earned your guys' subscription if you guys are not already subscribed. You can support me on Subscribestar if you'd like. And the best thing you can do is share this video. I hope you agents are being safe, and I will see you all in the dark zone. What's up, guys? I just want to take a quick second to say thank you. I appreciate all the support I've been getting. If you guys feel like supporting my work, check out the Subscribestar link down below. Lets me bring more content to you guys. You guys take it easy. Be safe out there.